10 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 if you have gone to preschool and all. Such a long period of study you are ending it now. I feel it is high time that you understand who was this Charles Babbage. Because statistics says that my observation also is that only 30% of the people who graduate out of their teaching program go to PhD. Many people don't start it immediately, and even who start will start them late. So for our practical purposes, this will be your last few months of a long journey of education. So I am making full use of it and trying to speak on many themes. Whenever we are discussing any great personality, I follow one small guide. If you take them out of their times and out of the context, there are two problems. One is you either glorify them unnecessarily, or you try to blame them for whatever shortcomings they have. Therefore, whenever you are studying a person, you should study him in that context and in that time which he came. Charles Babbage was very much a man of his times. See, when he was born, imagine the world during his time. There was inventions everywhere. The governments of that time were supporting the idea of invention. They were getting funds from government to pursue their dreams. Our hero was born in a very wealthy family. Like Charles Babbage, if you see the history of Charles Babbage, you will find that he actually started this whole thing of people who come from wealthy families, going to top class institutes and then coming out because of their powerful links with the governments of that time, getting enough support and money to do whatever they want. This line of story is true for Charles Babbage, and even if you see the movie Social Network, it is true. It's the same line which follows. You will not find a man who was born to a working class parents, going to an average schools like this, coming up and doing something in never. There are various reasons for this. But from Charles Babbage to Facebook, you see any great inventions in computing. All of them have similar pattern. Even Charles Babbage went to Cambridge. He went to Cambridge for a very different reason also. He was a sick child, and his parents wanted less stress on his mind. So they sent him to Cambridge, where all the wealthy people would come and just have some good time thinking about how to change the world and all these things. Charles Babbage was a product of such a lifestyle. And then suddenly, he has written a wonderful book, very rare for someone to write their own story. He has written his own book. I hope somebody has read it. If you have not read it, please read it. Passages from the Life of Philosopher. That is the title of the book which he himself has written, where he explains his story. He is a very good autobiographer because he doesn't speak much about his own life. He speaks about his inventions. Very interesting. There he says, suddenly one day, he was just sitting, it seems, in a room, and one of his friends came in. And he asked, Babbage, what are you doing here? And he says that he at that particular point casually mentioned to his friend that I am thinking of a machine which could automate these different tables. He simply had some tables on his tables, some logarithmic tables, and some tables which were used by these people who are going on trips for navigation purposes. He casually mentioned, it seems, to his friend that I am trying to automate this thing. After a particular point of time, he says he began to think on how to do it. You should remember that Charles Babbage however, was not a trained engineer. He was not a trained engineer. For all practical purposes, in my limited study, I don't think he had any degree. But because he came from a powerful family, he was able to get many positions. Now he had this idea of building a machine, a mechanical device, which could calculate the tables, logarithmic tables. He devised a method to do it called as the method of differences. Method of differences. It's a very simple method. And he began to propose to the government that he be given some funding to start his work. I say that there is something called as Babbage's curse on software engineering. This is my own mind. Babbage's curse. Babbage's curse is, Babbage made an application to the government of that time. Sir, I want to build such a machine. He called it the difference engine. Difference engine. That was the name he gave. See the word engine. Engine. That is the word engine. I want to make this difference engine. And please give me some money. Because he was well connected, I believe. He was given 1,000 pounds. So I am speaking in the 19th century. 1,000 pounds as an advance was given, and he started his work. Time passed. He was making the drawings, that is what we learned. He was making the drawings, and then there was draftsman who was converting his drawings into specific scientific drawings. He was making the rough drawings. There was a draftsman who was converting these drawings into scientific drawings. And then there was a workshop set up near his home where people were actually building the spare parts and doing everything. After some time, he discovered that this 1,000 pounds was very, very less. So he asked again. He was given 1,000 pounds again. Some time passed, shortage of money. Again he got some 1,500 pounds. Like this, went up to nearly 6,000 pounds. It started with 1,000 pounds. Now the government funding itself was 6,000 pounds. And he says that he spent an equal amount from his pocket also. Of course, he went through a lot of problems. Not that very simple narrative that I am making. He went through a lot of problems. Like every part, see, basically I think he was a genius. He was thinking much ahead of his times. Whatever things he wanted, people were not able to make them. Technology had not improved to the level of what he was imagining. That was his problem. Not his imaginative power. His workshop was under fire at a point of time, and everything had to be started from scratch. He was a sick man, and he had to leave his pursuit and go to some hill station to recover and again come back. There were personal tragedies. His wife and one of his child, they all died in 1 year, and all the struggle he went through. In fact, there is one very moving letter he wrote to his mother at a particular point of time, seeking her advice on whether he has to continue working in this project because he is giving it all and his health and his wealth is at stake. And his mother writes back, very great mother. She writes back telling him that, see son, I know you can do all this. Now, you continue doing whatever you want, even if it means that you have to live in bread and butter. That's what she writes.